Could Japan be leading an altcoin season in 2026? Today we'll break it down for you. It's going to be a good one. Let's just jump right in. I do want to thank our sponsor. That is Tangem. This is where you guys can get into self-custody. If you haven't done self-custody yet and you're brand new to crypto, this is one of the things you want to put on your checklist, especially for your New Year's resolution. Go over to tangem.com. It is a 3-card set. Get the 3-card set. Works like a credit card, but it works with your phone, whether it's an Android or iPhone, doesn't matter. Very easy to set up as well, and super secure. I'm literally telling you, this does not, I don't even think takes 3 minutes to set one of these things up. It is that simple for you, so don't fear getting into self-custody. Move your tokens off of exchanges. Use our link down below to help us out on the channel. Let's go over to a couple of points I want to hit on right here. Here's the Prime Minister of Japan talking about some pretty interesting moves. They are going to support overseas expansion of creators who produce powerful Japanese content such as manga, anime, and games. Think about that, guys. They're supporting overseas creators. And all of this is a new industry they think is going to be as big as the semiconductor industry. One of the lifebloods of what this will be is dedicated around where crypto is going to be involved in all of this. I want to go to a clip of her talking about this. She was at a conference called the Future Investment Initiative. This is what she had to say. Take a look.
I have heard that Japanese manga and anime are very popular in Saudi Arabia. There are titles like Captain Tsubasa, One Piece, and Demon Slayer. But today, I would like to conclude my speech by borrowing a famous line from Attack on Titan.
Just shut your mouth and invest everything in me.
I believe you understand what I'm asking for. Japan is back. Invest in Japan.
I like that. Just shut your mouth, invest everything in me, which is kind of the thing that happened. Of course, we saw Anime Coin about that time come off the floor and explode. We saw a little bit of movement there. But I want to play into this because this goes into how maybe other things are happening in crypto in general, and you have to bring in Larry Fink. Here is a clip of him talking about Bitcoin. Take a look.
An index for money laundering.
Those statements was not about crypto. Those statements were specifically about Bitcoin. So let me be clear, too.
Is there any chance that Warren Buffett is right? It'll go to zero.
But they're talking specifically about Bitcoin.
They're talking about Bitcoin.
I think we need to get back to what is the purpose. What is the purpose of Bitcoin? Then we get into stablecoin. The $13.5 trillion that BlackRock managed on behalf of our clients, it's basically managing hope. That's all it is. I mean, why would anybody invest in a 30-year outcome unless you're hopeful in 30 years you have the compounding effect? Bitcoin is an asset of fear. There is conversations this week that there may be some type of settlement in Ukraine. Bitcoin fell a little bit. If you buy it as a hedge against all your hope, then it has a meaningful impact on a portfolio. The other big problem of Bitcoin is it is still heavily influenced by leveraged players. That's Bitcoin, but we can see, because we see where the flows are coming from.
All right, so he says something very interesting there, and that is where the flows are coming from. If you look at the ETF tracker, this, of course, is Ethereum ETFs, and you can kind of see what we're looking at both on ETFs, all ETFs. Here's the Ethereum ETF right here, starting to move. There's all ETFs, and there's the flip that we're talking about. And I think this is what Fink is starting to look at, is he's seeing these transactions flow out there. And listen, it's not just there. BlackRock also, into digital liquidity, also understands where these funds are coming from. There's Ethereum pretty much controlling most of this. This is the kind of thing that, of course, starts to move markets in pretty significant ways, especially when Larry Fink speaks. Now, remember, when you think about stable coins and all this tie to Japan, I want to go back to something here, because this was Startail Group. Remember, we just talked about this the other day on the show. This is a new Sonium-based built blockchain that has a stable coin now available. Well, you take a look at what's happening in Japan, and you think, all right, well, this is, a great partnership there with M0. Guess who comes in right behind and does a partnership with M0, BITL, and BITL, of course, tied to BlackRock. Again, as an eligible collateral for stablecoins built on the Mo platform. This is another factor that starts to play into this whole theory that this is getting much more global. And when you think about global, we've done a couple of these videos in the past. Here's Warren Buffett. This is where he chooses Avalanche for the Japanese markets. There's reasons for that. I want to play a clip for you that kind of breaks this down. Take a look.
So I started buying all five, the five largest trading companies. We now own 7.4% of each of the companies. We'll be in these stocks 10, 20 years. We have had revelations about each of the companies. They can call us anytime.
All right, so that was Warren Buffett from an old clip that we played on our channel, okay? And I want to panel through some things because this is the theme that these are the, just so we can go to this clip right here, that right there. All right, so these are the Japanese trading houses that he's investing in. I mean, he's just said, hey, we're investing in long term. What did Warren Buffett know about these companies? Well, let me kind of go through them quickly. Right here, Murbini investing in digital blockchain startups. Then you go over to Itochu, also announcing a blockchain for traceability. Then you get into what's happening right here, Mitsubishi, also getting in on Avalanche. Then you go over to Sumitomo. This is the financial group that he's talking about, also getting in as, guess what, stablecoin on Avalanche. All of these are starting to integrate into blockchain technologies. And Buffett basically put the list out there months and months ago. And now all of a sudden you have this movement within Japan all happening right now, not to speak of what's happening with JPYC. This, of course, is where Avalanche is starting to move and take over a little bit of Polygon's steam in terms of number of transactions. You can kind of see the volume starting to shift a little bit. Point being is JPYC, this is the Japanese stablecoin, is starting to indicate a lot of movement. And when you look at the strategy of what their Japanese prime minister is doing around the ecosystem of blockchain and building it as an industry, this is a very important analysis to look at. I want to go to this one right here. This, of course, was talking about Antler Global. This is Yatsu talking about this. Remember, President, CEO of Animoca. And he says, let's launch a dedicated fund to support the growth of Japanese culture industries such as manga, anime, and film. I'm telling you, it's like they are talking to each other. They have to be able to just reprint exactly what the Prime Minister is talking about from Japan, which is exactly that, support these industries. Let me go to a clip, because this is Yatsu breaking it down. He was right again.
When Sony actually first launched Soneum, it was actually a largely muted release. Like even within the US sort of Web3 circles, they were like not really paying attention to it. It was kind of interesting. But I think still to this date would probably be the largest enterprise in the world that actually has launched a blockchain.
Starting their own blockchain,
that's right,
like as an ETH layer 2.
Yes.
It's kind of wild.
And of course, for us, the interest is working with them. Not just adding value to the blockchain, but also leveraging the network that is Sony. Places like Japan, for instance, one thing I've been telling people ages ago, that Japan is actually one of maybe the only country in the world that already has a token listing framework.
Yeah.
So the tokens that are there listed, for instance, like SAN or ApeCoin, for instance, they're completely legit. It's the only country in the world, at least in the past, that had that.
All right, so tons of tokens getting ready to ignite in Japan. This is probably going to be a situation where they might lead out an altcoin season, and there's a reason for this, and that is everything from liquidity, the market structure side, and the tax side, okay? They've got all of these things coming together at one time versus here in the US, we haven't got through taxes yet. We just got a stablecoin bill through. We don't have market structure in play. And Scott Bessent is recognizing all of this. And he had something to say, and this is another older clip. These guys are saying this stuff out loud if you just pay attention. Watch this one.
In a way, the most dangerous thing is a Japanese company with a lot of cash, because they'll do something crazy with it.
They're going to do something crazy.
It's a bit more of a dipping your toes into the Web3 tech.
Yeah, something like, you know.
Because we've been hearing executives talk about a super game coming sometime in 2026.
Right.
Is that correct?
Could be, yes, sometime around that area, I would say.
And that would incorporate all of your IPs from your catalog.
Well, we are not, we are not clarifying, but we are not, denying the potential.
We're not verifying, but we're not denying.
Sega, I guess, is the one to always challenge the norm. We're trying to be wild. It's higher risk, but potentially higher return. And I think I want to say this is going to be my greatest achievement in my career.
Greatest achievement is still to come.
Yeah.
All right, so as you can see there, this paints a very, very different picture for where the innovation could come from. A lot of this could be birthed in Japan, and it's going to come through culture. This is something Yatsu talks about a lot. Culture is going to be the major driver of crypto, and even Scott Bessent mentioned that. A Japanese company with a ton of money. Now you've got a stable coin, now you've got an infrastructure, now you've got tax incentives that are playing into this. Scott Bessent better be paying attention right here, guys. This could be one of the key things that leads us out into 2026. And you guys don't want to miss it because we're going to be covering all of that and so much more. If you're not part of our own private member group, which is the Bear Market Edge, you guys should be. We always leave a link down below. It's absolutely free to join. Follow me on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Paul Barron Show.